Client onboarding can make or break a business. How much time are you spending on client onboarding? How much time are you spending to generate all of these contracts, sending it to the client, creating all the client documents, creating communication channels, setting up file sharing mechanisms, all of that stuff? Is it 2 hours, 10 hours, 3 days, a week? I asked Perplexity this question, and when I asked how much time online businesses are spending, it gave me some crazy number like 30 to 90 days, and some financial institutions 34 weeks. I mean, it is much faster for technology and SaaS companies, but I didn't receive a time frame for that. So I went one layer deep, you and me, the agency space and small businesses, our clients, and they usually have a pre-created, well thought out onboarding procedure. Chances are you do too. You have a process, you send a contract, you set up file sharing, communication, all of that stuff. You follow a process. But how long is this taking? And they say onboarding process for small business can vary. Generally aims to be efficient to avoid overwhelming clients. That's true. A well-structured onboarding can help reduce churn and create a positive first impression. And this is a paradoxical statement. I realize that, but I believe you have 2 times to make that first impression. First, it's when your client actually sees your content, interacts with your cold email, talks to you on a sales call, whatever. The second time you get to make that first impression is this onboarding, because it's the first experience that your client will have once you start working together. And that impression, that starts from the day or the moment they sign the contract. And what happens after that? They paid you money, they signed the contract. What happens next? Assuming you have a well thought out process and someone looks at, wow, we got a deal, we celebrate, and a day later, 2 days later, someone reaches out to them saying, okay, schedule a call with us. And over that call, they sit down and prepare. If you were like me, that is, I used to do this when I started my agency 15 months ago. I used to sit down in an onboarding call that's 1 hour long. We used to sign up for the tech stack. We used to sign up for, the Google Drive. I used to create folders, create knowledge base folders where they can share files, all of that stuff. It would take hours where people would then say, my client would say something along the lines of, I did not find that folder. I did not get your Slack invite. It's lost. So these onboarding calls were taking way longer than I expected. From 1 hour, we would jump on 2 hour. We would have scheduled a follow-up call where they missed some links. Again, it was all messy. So that's when I discovered this one-click onboarding. Let me demo this real quick, and then I would show you how to build this step by step. Let me run this once. What's happening in this is connected to my GoHighLevel CRM, where I have a form where this is like a post sales report form where I fill out the data of the client, first name, last name, phone number, business name, email. Let me enter my own values as a demo. Let me preview this so that you will see in action what happens when I fill a form. I close a deal. Now I am entering all the details. Okay, this is what I entered. First name, last name, phone, business name. For deliverables, you can add any number of lines that you want. I just said chatbots, feature 1, 2, 3, workflow automations, voice assistants. So the deal value in USD is 5,000, deal length 4 weeks, and I submit the form. Once I submit this form, okay, country is needed. Okay, Canada. Once I submit this form, again, this is not pretty, this is an internal form, so I can get away with using anything. What this form essentially doing is it will fire off this automation where once the form is submitted, I will receive an email of the contract. What is this contract? This is the contract that is created by Kanasani for, I have all the placeholders where I would send out this pre-made template, client agreement template, where all the deliverables, all the, for example, the deal length goes here, contract value goes here. I will show all of this, how to set it up and everything, but this is how it goes. If I look my email, see the client contract has been template has been received. You need to change this name, by the way. Okay, view document, and once I start filling this out, select the date. I will select today's date, and then if you look at, all of the fields are populated. For example, money demos company with offices at this and this, AI growth partners. And if you look at the total cost of $5,000, which is 50% upon initiation, 15% upon project completion, the deliverables I entered, chatbots, workflow automation, AI voice assistant, any deliverable that you enter is being updated here. And once we go down, I will accept and sign. Again, you need to change the layout a little bit. I will select the date. Once I finish, as soon as I am done with this, if I look at the automation here, which I haven't fired just yet, let's see whether I actually saved. Okay, it is actually firing. All of the stuff is going on. I'm being invited to a Slack channel. There are folders being created under my name. I am being subscribed to an email sequence, and finally my contact is being updated at the GoHighLevel. So if I look my email, open my email real quick. Let me go back. Supposed to be this. Okay. Yeah, if you look at my email right now, as soon as I signed, within a span of 1 minute, I got the contract that I signed. If I open it, it has my signed signature with certificate signature and everything. And 2, I get a Slack invite from Grey Matter AI saying, okay, this is the channel we have created for you. And then, so I receive an email showing, okay, you have received a Google Drive, a project log, which is, if I go to my drive here, these are created at 1:18, which is the same time I received an email saying, okay, this is the calls folder. This is the knowledge base files that client needs to be uploading. You created a consulting log for a client with using a template, all of that stuff. And when you go back to email again, this is the welcome email that you see, and we are sharing this demo folder where the client can open and see everything. And we are actually saying in the email that if they have any questions or if they can't find any of these links that mentioned, please check your spam folder. If they're not there, just reply to this email and we will resend them. And we are sending this from our personal email, even though it's programmed in the in make.com. We are actually using our own personal email. So that is the whole flow. And behind the scenes, there are stuff going on, stuff on Convertkit and GoHighLevel. So for example, on GoHighLevel, if you look at the contact that is just created, it will show, it will update saying AI onboarding done, deal value. We are capturing all of that stuff, but I am updating this, And also I am subscribing this contract to a nurture sequence where I will discuss more about that in the future part of this video. But that is the demo, and we are going to build all of this step by step in this tutorial. This is actually part of my school group curriculum module 2. We talk about client onboarding. If you want to get this template and save all the time that we are going to try and build this, you can find the link in the description below. We are constantly adding in new stuff. Each week you'll be getting new templates almost every week, and we have twice a week Q&A calls and a lot of support. If you are interested, check the link in the description below. Let's talk about onboarding. Why onboarding is such an important thing. I have started my agency 15 months ago, and when I did that, I was trying to find productized services that I can build once and repeat the process over and over again. And onboarding is one thing that I thought it is one of the biggest problems that agencies face, online businesses face, or small businesses face, because they spend a lot of time in creating contents, creating contracts, and once they create these contracts, they follow up with the clients, have you received the contract, and they sign it. Once they sign it, a whole new process starts again to create communication channels, to create file sharing, and to create a Trello board, project management. There is lead nurturing. We don't know how this is going to go. And for that reason, we have developed this onboarding, one-click onboarding. No matter how many clients you sign, you always get that world-class experience where instead of spending 30 minutes, 60 minutes, 2 hours, even the best businesses spend at least 60 to 90 minutes on customer onboarding. However streamlined, well thought out, and orchestrated their onboarding processes, it still takes a lot of customer service effort. I mean, a human is actually sitting and doing all of those things. But if you have AI, if you have automations taking care of that aspect step by step, I mean, it has to be perfect. And imagine how a client would feel as soon as they sign a contract. All of these emails they get this Google Doc. I only included one document in there, but imagine getting 5 different resources that they can use on that day, even before the onboarding call. And even in the welcome email, we can include a link for the onboarding call. Again, the message that we actually send out to these client looks different for every client that we work with. Let me talk about the onboarding that we have in here. Even though you see all of this flow, we call it the client journey map. We have the offer. We follow Alex Hormozzi's value equation. I won't be going into that. Like I said, this is a part of my course I'm doing in my school. So this is module 2. Lead generation, lead qualification, lead nurture. Again, this is out of scope for this video, but onboarding is where I want to really highlight, and that's why I moved this to a different section. The post sale report, you have seen that in action. It has updated the GoHighLevel. The exact flow that we were using is this. Once the form is submitted, I'm also updating the opportunity where I say the status is 1, the deal is closed. I don't have to cover that in this tutorial, which is mostly focused on the make scenario, but we will update GoHighLevel side of things. So once the form is filled, we are populating the contract and sending it to the user. Once we send the contract, once the client signs the contract, we will subscribe them to an email sequence. what happens in this email sequence. You can use Beehive, you can use Convertkit, you can use GoHighLevel itself. So for our deliverability, we prefer Convertkit. What happens in Convertkit is day one, the day that they signed, they will receive a welcome email based on when they booked their onboarding. The next 2 to 3 meetings would go something like this. The nurture sequence that we do is in parallel with what we do on these meetings. First meeting is we create a process map. We completely eliminated onboarding call. We have something called the first meeting. We discuss the process map based on their goals, their deliverables, whether that's conversation flow, all of that stuff. And before meeting 2, we will send them an email saying, okay, these are all the tools that you need to sign up to, and send invites. And before the third meeting, this sequence would send, okay, have you uploaded your knowledge base files into the folder that we created? Here's the link if you don't have it. So MVP demo, the fourth meeting, all of these emails have to be in perfect sync. So there is a setup that needs to be done on Make and Convertkit to actually pull this off on days before actual meetings. So I won't be covering that either. I will show you how to subscribe them to a sequence, whether that's Convertkit or any other email provider, ActiveCampaign and stuff. We create client materials. We create a Google Drive. I show you how to create one document in this, one consulting log, but you can have any number of resources that you need to include. And that has your client's name. That is important. Once they see that, once they see AI has done all of that, the automations has done all of that, as soon as they sign, they see all of these documents have been created at the same time. That really wows them. And if you include something like this as a free bonus for their business, you are golden. And we create a private communication channel, whether you use Slack, whether you use Discord. In this example, we use Slack, and we will send a welcome email that I showed you, the initial tasks, the next steps, and links to the Google Drive consulting log and our meeting link, booking link, where they can schedule the first call, the kickoff call. We used to call it onboarding call previously, but right now it's a kickoff call where we go through the process map. If they did not receive some of these emails, we make sure to send a follow-up email before they show up to the call to make sure they find it because we know that automation has worked and they have received an email. So let me set this up step by step. To start creating this whole onboarding, you can use any CRM, but we used GoHighLevel. You can easily do this for Airtable if you don't have a CRM, but most of the clients that you reach out to will have a CRM, and this is more focused towards how you can provide this as a service as opposed to you using it to your agency if you are just starting out. The first one in this flow is the post sale report. So that's where we go. When you log in to your GoHighLevel account, this is the dashboard that you would see. This is the sub account level, not the agency level. Once you go there, you will see sites, and in sites you have forms, and click on builder and you will see all the forms. If you are new, you don't see one, but creating a form is really easy. Add a form, start from scratch, and you can already use the templates that they have, and it's just a matter of adding in new stuff. Add an element. If you want to add a text field, for example, single line text, and here you can enter deal value. Deal value placeholder, you can say something along the lines of $XXX. so that they know that it's a dollar value, and make sure you hit required. That way you will have these unique field values. Once you save it, deal value already exists, right? Deal value 2, for the sake of it, deal value 2. Now you have the unique key. I will show you why that's important later, but that is how you create a form. Once you create a form, once you save it, you can, if you preview, this is the link that you can use to start sharing. But this is an internal doc, right? You have to complete it yourself once you close the deal. If you have a salesperson, they close the they will fill out this form, whatever the case may be. That's how it goes. I don't want to show every step in this form filling. It would be just too long. But if you want to use the fields that I have used, this is what something I did: the first name, last name, phone, business name, email, country, address, city, province. This is full address basically, deliverables, deal value, deal length. And that's the only that's the whole form. And once they fill this form, they need to we need to build an automation in the workflow. I have already built an automation, but for this example I will create a new one, start from scratch. For this new workflow, allow reentry is now on by default. Got it. New workflow, let's call it form to contract to. I already have a form to contract. So for the trigger, you need to select form submitted and add filters. Form is, select the form. Form 31 is the form that I created to show you, but post sales form demo is the one that I need to choose. Save trigger. So this automation will run anytime a form is submitted, the form that we created, the deal form. The next step in this flow is we will fill the document based on what we have received in that form. You need to go to send documents and contracts, and from user it says Money Kanasani. And if you are new to GoHighLevel and you don't know where the form is or where you need to create a user, because if you don't create a user, nothing will show up. It will say no user. You have to go to settings. You have to go, this is the dashboard, right? When you are in the dashboard, you need to go to settings and then my staff and create an employee, create an account. And this account needs to be, if you are working for someone, this needs to be your client's name, and this needs to be someone the user recognizes, so they know it's coming from the business, not the developer, obviously. Then once we select the user, and the template is the client contract template. This template I already shared it in my school group. So to go to a template, you need to go to contracts, you need to go to payments, and then in payments there are documents and contracts, there are contract templates. So client contract template, let me not call it template. I mean, you can rename it to not say template, so that each time someone receives it, it doesn't say template. This is what I prepared. I am planning to export this as a snapshot and share this in the community, but not today, but in the next 2 to 3 days. But you will get all of this. And the client agreement, this is what I have prepared. We have actually hired a lawyer to write most of this stuff. and we are reusing all of the stuff that he has made us. So I'm not a lawyer, I'm not your legal advisor, so always make sure if you are using something like this in your business, do it at your own risk. So this is how you would create or populate some of these fields. For example, remember how we were doing when we are filling the form earlier? We see a deal value, right? We were looking at something called a deal value. Let me go back real quick and show you. When we are creating this form earlier, there is a smart field name, a field name for every field that we are creating. For example, in the form builder, if we go to the post sales report form, when you click on this phone, there is, okay, not phone, that's a bad example, but if you go to deliverables, it says, if you look at in the advanced deliverables, there is contact.deliverables field. So that is where you find the fields. But to use those fields in here, what we need to do, for example, if you would like to enter the email address of the client, let's say, you need to click this custom values, and in the contact you will see email. Now we have their email. In the same way, if you want their full address, their company name, if you want, let's say, the deal length, you have seen this contact.deal length, deal value. All of this stuff can be populated by using this field, and you will find every variable, every field that you have created in your form in here. If you don't see that, you need to go to, if you don't know how to copy this, or I mean, it's so easy to copy, and any field that you create that is a required field will have these settings. So it's fairly easy. If you have any questions, feel free to comment down below or join my free school to get answers. So that's how you populate the form, right? Now to continue on with our automation here, once the form is filled, we are sending the contract to the user info that has been submitted in the form. We will save the action. Let's save it, publish it, and test the workflow against the demo contact that we were using. Let's see, let's run test, and if I have received an email, it should show up. Yes, I just received a contract 0 minutes ago, and if you look at this document, it has all the info that we have prepared so far or prepared previously. That it's basically the same contract because it's using the same info that we have in there. And that's how you create the first automation. You can add in further steps. You can add a tag saying that we already sent a contract in GoHighLevel, for example. That is what I usually do. Add a contact tag, select tags, I would say contract sent, add new tag, and so as soon as we send the contract, we will add saying contract sent, and now save it. This is the first part of the automation, and we go to building the second one, create workflow, create from scratch. And this workflow is, let's call it contract to make, because once someone finishes or signs this contract, we trigger an automation on make.com. So for this, we need to select in documents and contracts triggers. We have, let's add a filter saying okay, let's say the template is client contract template, and add a filter status is completed. So once someone completes this client contract, once someone signs this client contract, this automation will be triggered. So that is the trigger. And in the action, you can first add a contact tag saying contract signed, or he's a active client, whatever the tag may be. If you have any additional automations, this is a great way to constantly tag people wherever they are in the pipeline. You can update the pipeline to that the deal is won now from discovery call, all of that. You know how you move a sale from, you move a prospect from pipeline to various stages in the pipeline. So if you want to update that, you can do so. But to trigger an automation on make.com, you select Webhook, and the post sounds about right. Let's go to get this URL, you need to go to make.com and create a new scenario. And if you have a template, it's just as easy as choosing a file and choosing this and save. You will see the whole template here. But like I said, we will be building one from scratch. So let's see how we do that in real time. Webhook, custom webhook, and create a webhook for this. Let's call onboarding webhook. Save. So copy this address to clipboard, and let's go to our paste the URL and save action. Let's save it, and let's test the workflow with the same demo run test. The way we run test is, okay, it says successfully determined, and the webhook is working correctly, automation is working correctly, and we did receive some information back. So the first step in this process is, if you look at my flow earlier, after contract sent, I usually subscribe. I don't follow this to the exact step, but what makes most sense for your client, I would usually go with that. And to make this really simple, I only selected 3 different flows. One is creating a communication channel, a Slack channel, and one is creating Google Drive for file sharing, knowledge base, file upload and stuff. And once we record our calls, I wanted to upload them and send an email. That's one. And set up an email sequence in Convertkit and subscribe them to that sequence with the name client or something, with the tag client. And finally update my GoHighLevel saying, okay, they have been through this AI onboarding process. That's done. So to achieve that, let's start with our Slack. Let me add a router. In the first part, to create a Slack channel, what I like to do is, how in Slack channel they need the channel names that you see are lowercase. If we use the inputs that we have, the outputs that we have from the webhook in this scenario for invite users, it will fail. For that reason, you need to convert the name into lowercase so that you can use that name as a channel name for Slack. Set multiple variables, add variable. The variable name that I wanted to call this is lowercase. Variable name. So variable value, how that works is you can select these fields that you see here, and we want lowercase. What this is doing is, if you have a capital letter, the uppercase one in the text, it will automatically convert every letter of the word of the sentence into a lowercase. Uppercase to lowercase is achieved by lower. And in this name, I want to include the stuff that we have captured from the webhook. For example, the first name dash last name. So that is the name that I want to capture. If you run this module only, for example, first name money, when I say money and demo, the output that I would receive is the lowercase one. So that is what we need to create a Slack channel. So let's use Slack. Create a channel is what we need. Create a channel. So to add this connection, new connections work something like this, where you will allow, and it's just following the instructions and step by step. It's all intuitive. You will have no problems finishing this whatsoever. Create a channel. So channel name is lowercase dash AIGC. This is how I would name a new channel, and I want it to be a private channel, and I will hit OK. And there is a bit of problem with Slack with inviting new users on make.com. Slack natively only lets you invite users that are already part of your organization. For example, if you already have invited them manually to your workspace, you can invite them to a channel. So first you need to invite them to a workspace, only then you can invite them to a channel. Even if you try and invite a user to, even if we hard code this, even if we are using the fields from previous channel ID and then trying to add users to it, if we submit email address here, it wouldn't work. It will give us error saying user not found. So how do you fix that? We don't really have a module for it. We have to do an API call, and I will show in this tutorial on how to do that. You will need to create a tool. For that you need to go to API dot, let me show you the URL. This is the URL that you need to go to, api.slack.com/apps. So once you are in there, I already created an app, but let me create a new one, start from scratch. An app name, let's say make demo. For workspace, you can select the workspace that you use, and okay, I have some sensitive information in there. Nice. More stuff to edit. Next you need to go to OAuth and permissions, and you need to add scopes in this. Add an OAuth scope. There are 3 scopes that you need to add, which is conversation.connect.manage is one. We need read and write as well for conversations and connect. Once you add these three scopes, this is straightforward, but you need to read a lot of stuff. I'm basically eliminating all that. Receive Slack, connect, invite, events, send to channels, make demo is in. Create Slack connect invitations for channels that make demo has been added to. So that's what we are doing. Actually, we are building an app and we are inviting this app first, and using this app we are basically inviting an external user into the workflow. And the way we do that is by building a custom HTTP request. So when you refresh this, I'm not sure if there's not I think it would be refreshed right now. You see make demo, this is the new one that we created just now, and we are inviting this to a private channel that we have created in the previous module here. And once we save it, the next part is to create a HTTP request. Don't let that intimidate you whatsoever. This is really straightforward. There is a link. The link is api.slack.com methods conversations.invite shared. So that is the URL where you find all the info on how to make this call. It is a post request. You just need to copy this email, copy it, paste, change it to post. This is where the URL goes. For headers, you can, if you are lost in any way, this is where you can find these are the required arguments. The channel ID is a must and a token is a must, and these are optional arguments, emails, etc. Since we are inviting others, this is a required field for us, but for the header we need, so name is authorization and bearer. You know how we were preparing this app earlier? You need to copy this bot user auth token. Don't worry, I'll be deleting this. I don't want to use it. But don't share your API keys. Okay, that's the value. Body type, application raw, content type, application JSON. So the request content, this is the format that you need to be using. So we need the channel ID, which is ID here, and the email address from the first field, which is this guy here, which is email, and this is the format that you should call the argument. And I found this info from here, this guy. Okay, that should do the trick. Let's test this and see in real time if that worked. Let me first, to not cause any errors, I want to since I already have a channel that is named money.test is AIGC2 maybe. I think that way it will create a new one, and I was suspecting this would happen. So test workflow, run test. Let's go back. Perfect. And if I look at my email now, Slack, I invited to money demo AIGC2. This is the old link, and that was 43 minutes ago. Wow. Okay. Now next step, we build the Google Drive flow. First, create a folder. I already have my connection to do that. You just need to click add and follow. Just log in with your drive and give required permissions. A new folder location, It's always beneficial if you create a client folder. I already have a folder that I created earlier, money demo with AI growth partners. So new folder name. I always want to use something that is related to clients. I don't want to repeat what I mentioned earlier. So instead of using first name, last name, I would say just the first name for now. And AI growth creators, the business name. Okay, this is the folder that will be created, and I will add a module saying let's create a new folder within that folder, right? So in the location, what I would do now is under clients, and okay, this is not how you would do it. Let's select map, and this folder ID, I want to delete this here, and the folder ID is the folder ID of the folder that we created earlier, and I'm going to call this knowledge base files, because you know how we work with chatbots, voice assistants a lot, and we need files from clients, but this can be any resource files that you shared with clients. So that is how you create a folder within a folder. So if you have any templates that you want to duplicate for your clients, this is what you need to do. I have a document that I share with each of my client called a consulting log. You can do that by copying a file, which is the original file ID. We will come to that. Let's select from the list. Original file ID is, for example, if you look at this is a consulting log template that I have, and new drive location is still my drive. New folder location, I will actually make it a map and select the Google Drive that we created for the client, the first folder, and the copied name, I'd like to use my client's full name and their business name with money demo dash. We can use our own company name so that they won't be confused, but either way, that's okay. Okay, click OK, and that is copying a file. And the next step would be, now we have created a folder. We have created a folder within a folder. We saw how to copy a file from a template and upload that into the drive. And now the next step would be sharing this link. For that, you need to select get a share link, and my drive is right. Select a folder instead of file. We want to select the whole folder, and just click to okay. We need a map, and the folder that we want to share is the first folder that we created. Always refer this number 8 to this. You can rename these modules into the name that you like. That's what I usually do with my templates, so that it's way easier. And I want to make him not owner but writer, because owner, it should be in your own it would be your own organization. Growth creators.ai can be owner, but anyone else from different organization should be a writer if you want to give them full permissions. And one thing I missed is, if you are connecting your personal email here at Google Drive, it is a really complicated process and takes a lot of time. But if you have a business email, if you have a Google Workspace account, that makes things a lot easier. So I strongly recommend that you get that. And that's the folder ID, writer. And for type user, the email address is the email address of the user. You need to give access to this guy. And send notification email, absolutely yes. The email message, you can basically ignore it or say something along the lines of you've been given access this is we still send the welcome email. This is in addition to that. If they miss or link doesn't fire off properly in the welcome email, link doesn't work, they will still get this shared email which I was showing you earlier in the demo. And we have the share link, we have updated the permissions that they can see, only they can see. And now I want to send an email. The way I would send an email is you will add your connection again, the restricted Google connection. Again, business email makes a lot stuff easy. And this recipient address is the email address of the client, and the subject line you can say their full name, AI onboarding, or welcome or something, welcome email, anything you want. For the content, this is where it gets a bit tricky. I use apps like chatbots like Claude, because email, if you enter just the text, you will not see everything would be one big sentence. You need to upload HTML. For that reason, I ask Claude to prepare stuff for me in a format that I would then go in and edit the stuff. Once I get this code, I will copy this code and paste it in the make content module here. And for example, then I would go in and change each fields like I want. For example, instead of welcome to there is dear client name, right? I need to remove this client name and include the first name of the user. And I do that for every field, first name. So I do that for everything, the first name, the Google Drive link, the questions. I mean, if the Slack channel one, all of that, we will be updating that in the email. And once you're done populating all the fields, you would click OK. Let me test this in real time and see how that works. We can go back to the form that we are testing. Track to make any demo, run test, and let's see whether that's okay. Let's go to this guy. Okay, Slack gave me an error. Oh, name taken again. Let's do 3 instead of. Man, I am creating Slack channels left, right, and center. Okay, let me go back. Again, in real world, you won't be, same user won't be signing contracts all day. So it won't happen for you if you do this, right? That is okay. Now let's go. Awesome. And I receive an email, and also let's see our client folder. Previously we only had one, right? So okay, you have been given to access. Let me go to this link, web view link, go to nice. So in the client folder, money demo, the second one we used money with AI growth create as the business name instead of the first name. There you have it. Now it's time for the next one, which is the Convertkit. This can be Active Campaign, this can be Beehive, so this can be any email provider, but we use Convertkit. Update a subscriber, add a tag to subscriber is what I'm looking for. Nice. Once we have this email address, tag ID, client, email is the email. And this is, since we are not doing a lot of setup on, I won't be covering what we actually send out to these clients in these emails, but you can do a whole lot of stuff once you export or tag someone on Convertkit. You can subscribe to them a sequence. You can build new automations based on other actions they take. Always keep saving it so that you don't lose it. Finally, I update my GoHighLevel. In the lead connector, I will update a contact, which is by the contact ID. We already have this contact ID from the webhook. Please excuse the number of fields that I have in there. This is a demo account. Contact ID, this is where you have the contact ID, and if you want to add a tag, go ahead and do so if you have additional information. But if you want to update a field instead, for example, AI onboarding done to, you can do so as well. You can save it. The way you add these new fields on GoHighLevel is you go to, for example, let me go back to home so I can show you one last time how to add fields if you don't know how. You go to contacts, and the settings button, you add a field, and single line, you hit next. A field can be AI automation or onboarding, whatever you want, and you save it, and you will they will ask you whether you want to save it under general info, additional info, or any other kind of category. I would usually save it in additional info, and I hit save, and that field is saved, and you can see this contact.ai auto field. If you want to use it in forms, if you want to use it in contracts, you can do so. Now you can do additional automations based on those fields as well. I won't be covering that in this. So that's how you do this whole automation. Let's test one last time to whether see if it's working. Let me create a channel 4 instead of that. Okay, now let's run once and test this guy in action. Let me do the whole flow and see if it's working for the form. Preview. Okay, I have some dummy and crazy values here. I agree and submit. Let's see how that goes. I have submitted an email. Oh, I will receive an email where I need to sign a contract. This is the latest one. View document, and let me sign it real quick. Date and sign, accept and sign, select date 17, finish. Let me see this in action. How long will it take? It should be working. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So if you go back to our emails, I am getting emails again. Onboarding, AI GC onboarding, AI onboarding. Okay, I got a ton of stuff. For some reason it worked twice. I don't know why. I will definitely fix it. AI testing is what I have over there. AI onboarding is okay. This is the one that I haven't finished, and this is the one that I actually did previously, and it's working. So that's why we have two automations going on side by side, and it won't happen again because I haven't really turned this on. So always save your automations and turn this on to work. Again, you can name some of this stuff to make things a lot easier. This is what I do. Main folder, knowledge base folder, calls folder. And the reason I use this lowercase one here is I would include the channel name in the message content, and you can include a booking link as well. So that's the whole flow. You know how to build it from scratch for now. Again, and there is a lot of other stuff you can do. Like I was mentioning, you can add a Trello board for project management. You can add ClickUp and tag actual project managers, actual people that are responsible for some other tasks. They can receive an email as well. Again, we have built some of the most complex flows for onboarding, and some of them are really much simpler than this. So this is a sweet spot where we find that balance. We are not over complicating stuff, because if you want, you can build upon this till cows come home. I can do 6 hour long tutorial and we wouldn't go anywhere. So you get the idea. You can build upon this. This is something that has generated thousands and built me a lot of goodwill with my clients, got me referrals, got me upsells, a lot. I'm sure you would find this a lot of value when you learn how to do this right. So till next time.